So, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI-Talk und ich hole jetzt 2, 3 Interviews nach, die ich eigentlich für Vancouver geplant gehabt habe, aber dann nicht durchführen können, weil entweder mein Flieger nicht geflogen ist oder bei dieser Veranstaltung es nicht erlaubt war, Videos zu machen bzw. Interviews zu führen. Und bei mir habe ich jetzt den Hubert Parent-Bouchard, so ein schöner Name, von Radisson Mining und die sind auch im französischen Teil von Kanada und er wird uns jetzt die Story einmal erzählen. Hubert, we meet us on the conference in Vancouver. That was the Metals Forum. I think that was the Metal Forum.
Exactly, in late May.
In late May. And the Metal Forum is one of the forums where you get an invitation from one of the newsletters. So which newsletters invite you to this forum?
Jay Taylor invited the company after he started the coverage in March.
Okay.
So we were invited by Jay Taylor. It was a very good conference.
Yeah, that conference was very good. What is the main reason why Jay Taylor cover you? What he's finding interesting on the story?
I think what Jay finds interest and what your subscribers or listeners should be aware of is that we're completing a resource estimate at the moment on the O'Brien Gold project, which we own at 100%. And we feel this resource estimate will be quite impactful given it's integrating a new interpretation for the deposit.
I saw it on your website, but I saw it on your presentation too. That the O'Brien Gold project is on the Cadillac Trend in close to Val d'Or. Everybody in Germany knows the Cadillac Trend from the Osisco, from the Malartic project that was very successful story in the 2006 to 2014 or 15. I think then it takes over by Yamana and Agnico Eagle. And this is the old O'Brien mine. Was an old mine. They produce, I saw it in your presentation, over 580,000 ounces with a head grade or with the average grade of 15.25 gram per tons. That's unbelievable.
It's a magnificent grade. It's still renowned as the richest mine by grade in Quebec. Again, as you mentioned, 1.2 million tons at 15.2 grams. I would have to say most of the ground in the area is held by major companies. One of them you've outlined, Agnico Eagle. IM Gold is also present in the camp with the Westwood mine. Mm-hmm. And further east, you have Eldorado, who recently took over Integra Gold. And as you outlined, the Canadian Malartic mine that was developed by Osisco, I've had the chance to be working for a mining contractor at the time who was one of the mining contractors that built that mine. So lots of activity in the area. And more so today, we just saw an increase from Osisco in their bid price for Alexandria, who's a junior in the camp. And they just outbid Agnico Eagle for this asset, so it's an interesting timing.
Oh shit! I sold my Alexandria shares 1 week ago. That breaks my heart.
We'll see how it plays out. It's interesting to see this today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was really proud about the project what Alexander put together, and it was a little bit frustrating when you get only 5 cents. So, but I think okay, it's done and sell it. And we have other interesting stories around, and be more focused on this one and the other ones. And you say you're coming up with a new resource estimation.
Exactly. Last year in October, we hired a new exploration manager. We had done more than 45,000 meters of drilling at the time on the asset at O'Brien. The main purpose of the drilling that we had done was to increase the resource between surface and 550 meters. at depth. And the old O'Brien mine went down to 1.1 kilometer. So when he joined the company, we restarted drilling. And the first hole he drilled, he obtained 12.8 meters of 37.5 grams gold in the resource package. So the first question I got from my investors, I guess, was, well, nice hole, Hubert, but can you show continuity? Can you do it again? So I turned the question to my geologist, Richard Nieminen, who, by the way, won the Prospector of the Year twice in Quebec. And what he mentioned is that, well, by looking at the model we had on hand on the resource package and the drilling information he had gathered, he couldn't really tie the geology together to what he was seeing on the drill rock. So he had he wanted basically to do a lithostructural study in order to find the control of the gold or the source of the gold mineralization. When he came to that project, his goal was to basically prove that the O'Brien mine was not unique. This mine has always been known as a piece of jewelry, or a unique piece of jewelry, and owning 100% of that mine and having a resource just besides, he approached the project basically to unlock the full potential of the project. So we knew the right guy to contract for this study. His name is Kenneth Williamson. He's a structural geologist who did his master thesis on the Red Lake gold mine at the time, which was owned by Goldcorp. And basically we gave him all our data, and he came up within a few weeks with a brand new reinterpretation. The main outcome is that in the first model we had one orientation for the gold occurrences, so from east to west, just parallel to the Larder Lake Cadillac break. And with his studies or his work, Ken was able to identify a major fault or a splay from the Cadillac break that comes right in the middle of our property. That fault is known as the Lac Emo fault. And this is very important in the Abitibi area, because usually when you have such a fault, it's very good for potential for gold mines. I think this potential is proven by the resource that we have right now, and also by the historic production on site. So right now we're finalizing, the model is finalized, and we felt that it was a major breakthrough that we needed to restate our resource estimate in order to tie it up to the model. And our gut feeling is that in the next few weeks we're going to come up with the resource estimate. It shouldn't have a big impact on the number of ounces, but it shouldn't have an impact on the grade and tonnage. Our feeling is that grade will go up and tonnage will go down, which makes the project even more attractive at the moment. And this tool will be very important as well for the next phase of exploration, because we will be able to use it for very refined drill targeting, and we plan on restarting drilling in July based on that model.
Okay, so that's mean the last 12 months you find out how the structure looks like, or you understand the structure of your project better. So that's mean the resource calculation, what it will come out the next few weeks, it's not really brings up the numbers of ounces, what you say, but it brings up the grade and bring the tonnage down. But with the next round of drilling, then you can drill better or more to these high grade shoots, I think. And hopefully then the next resource estimate bring then the ounces up too.
Exactly. Our resource package is open below 500 meters. And you can see that the O'Brien mine went down to 1.1 kilometer. And by using our model, it will be very easy to target the highest grade ore shoot. That way we can build ounces very quickly and effectively.
Uh, at the moment you have, I must say, I must check, you have around 233,000 ounces indicated and 194,000 in inferred resources. Is this right?
This is quite right, and the average head grade is around 6 grams per ton.
Yes.
Again, the O'Brien mine returned 15 grams per ton for almost 600,000 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see in the next resource where we lie in terms of grade, but there's definitely some upside there.
Is still some infrastructure there what you can use, or is it nearly collapsed everything from the old O'Brien mine?
The old O'Brien mine caved in at the level 1,800 feet because they mined too close to the shaft at the time. That's why the mine shut down.
Okay.
But we're basically playing between two mines or drilling between two mines. So on the eastern portion of the property is the Kewagama mine, which returned a smaller production and has a shallower shaft. And we have to investigate whether we will use those infrastructures for the next phase, which would be an underground exploration bulk sampling, an exploration program. But at the time, right now, we're drilling from surface, and I would have to underline that the infrastructure in the area is very good. We're located halfway between two mining towns of Rouyn-Noranda and Val-d'Or. So both towns are 50 kilometers away from the project. Or in the Cadillac Township, which has produced more than 21 million ounces of gold over the last 100 years. And the project is 1 kilometer by a provincial highway or a paved highway. Power grid passes on site, and we have a pristine core shack in order to support the exploration activities at the time. One other aspect is that the hydropower passes directly on site as well, which is quite helpful and will be beneficial for the next phase of growth for this deposit.
How many meters do you plan this year to drill?
Right now, we're already permitted for 20,000 meters, so 20 kilometers. And we plan on doing this with 2 drill rigs, so we should be able to do 20,000 meters by year end.
Do you have the money already?
Right now, we're eyeing a financing post-resource estimation. And I would have to say that we've presented the model to multiple categories of investor, and I'm not worried at all about the next round of financing. It's going to go very quickly and effectively post resource estimate.
What 20,000 meters cost in Quebec?
In our area, we're benefiting from very low exploration costs. So we drilled this deposit at $105 per meter all-in cost. So we're looking at a $2.2 million exploration program. If you look at other areas in Quebec or in the rest of Canada, it can go very quickly in terms of dollars per meter. So we're very lucky to have such a setting at O'Brien in order to make sure that every dollars in the ground are well invested.
This $100 or a little bit more than $100 per meters include this also the lab to analyze the drill?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it includes the drillers, the assaying, the geological staff, and the fixed costs at the core shack. So it's pretty much all in cost.
When I look at the share price, you have a pretty good run starting from February, March up to now. Is this also was Jay Taylor here also helpful to bring the share price up, or is it in general that the sentiment is changing? But what do you think was the reason for the move in the share price?
I would say it's a mix of both. There is definitely a lot of interest on the new model and the resource estimate, and that way we can better underline the full potential for the property. And since Jay picked up Radisson in terms of coverage, we did see much more US buying than before. So it did have an impact on the share price as well.
Mm-hmm. Biggest shareholder. How many shares are outstanding? Were the biggest groups and so on?
Right now, there's 137 million shares outstanding. The management and the board, we own 13% of the company, so we put our money where our mouth is. We recently appointed a strategic advisor to the company. His name is Michael Gentile. Prior to being appointed, he owned 4% of the stock. He plans on participating on the next round of financings as well. And he's an ex-fund manager from Montreal who's very well connected in the mining industry. So that's very helpful. We also have around 25% institutional ownership in the company, from Quebec with the Caisse de dépôt to Texas with US Global and Switzerland with OSIM Precious Metal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite tightly held. And being born and raised in the gold country, in the Abitibi area, we came to this company in 2014, and we have a group of local shareholders, around 25 people, who own 36% of the company. Mm-hmm. So I would say within 50 hands total, we own more than 60% of the company. So it's a quite healthy share structure at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, very impressive. So to summarize everything, in the next few weeks, the new resource calculation coming out. In the last 12 months, there was a breakthrough on the thinking how the project looks like, the structure of the project looks like. You're starting now a new drill program up to 20,000 meters, up to year end, cost around 2.2 million. It's very cheap cost. Do you still get back from the government, Quebec, 50% or nearly roughly 50% for your exploration costs?
In our case, it's the credit is around 28%.
28%. So you get 28% around. Rough. Great. And with the next round, and the resource calculation should coming up with higher grades but lower tonnage, so it's not really changed dramatically on the ounces. But with the new understanding of the project and with the new drilling, you should coming up with higher drill results. You have fantastic results last year on your project. I think there was one grade with over 12 gram.
We published in November one infill drill hole in the resource, and that's basically what brought the lights out, I would say. So in that hole alone, in the hole 1884, we obtained 37.5 grams per ton over 12.8 meters. And in the same hole just above, we obtained 8.7 grams over 12.2 meters. So what we could see from that hole is that there was two different structures or vein sets with different orientation, mm-hmm. and crossing each other, and we intersected both vein sets in that hole, and mm-hmm. as you can see, they are very close to one each other, mm-hmm. and that's what we're chasing. When the structure intersects themselves, we usually see some high grade ore shoot develop, and mm-hmm. with the new model, we've defined those ore shoots, the highest grade ones and the medium grade one and the lower grade one. And now we're tying up the resource to the model, so it will be very effective drilling. With the next round of drilling, we will be targeting the extension of the highest grade ore shoots, mm-hmm. in order to build more ounces. Mm-hmm. Perfect. With the new resource estimate, I think we're going to show better quality in terms of ounces, not much of an increase, but to me, it's about building a quality resource that can be mined eventually.
Hubert, thank you for your introduction to your company. I think it was a great first round, the first interview. Hopefully, when you're coming up with the first new drill results, you can confirm, but these high numbers, and then your share price should really go other direction. One last personal question come to my mind. What do you think about the gold price?
I think we're doing very well. In Canadian dollars, we were near all-time high 2 days ago. The investors are looking at the gold price in US dollars, but when you look at it in other currencies, it's near all-time high in many of them. So to me, this is a sign that we're into the beginning of a bull market for the gold space. And I think our share price has reacted very well to it recently and in recent weeks and recent months. So I look forward to keep expanding our deposit, because our timeline or our growth seems well suited with the timing on the gold price.
That's right. Do you get more phone calls from potential investors and so on with this new uptrend on gold?
I would say yes, and I would say also the outreach is much more easy. People are looking for gold stories at the moment. So I think people are shopping around. They still have time in front of themselves, but the interest is definitely picking up. It was so dry for multiple years that now that the interest is coming back, I think we could see great runs for stocks like Radisson, who have a good capital structure and good projects.
Hubert, thank you for the interview. Next time we can go a little bit deeper and can a little bit more discuss the new drill results and the new resource calculation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So, das war Radisson Mine. Ein interessantes Interview, und zwar, wir sehen hier einen Chart, der ist ja ziemlich nach oben gegangen. Wir wissen, es ist eine alte Mine, die geschlossen worden ist, weil sie scheinbar zu nahe am Schaft abgebaut haben. Da haben sie dementsprechend dann kollabiert. Ich muss nächstes Mal fragen, wann war die Mine eigentlich in Produktion. Und sie haben jetzt sie haben eine Ressourcenschätzung bereits drauf. Ich habe es zusammengefasst, ungefähr 400.000 Unzen in den Förderern indicated, mit einem durchschnittlichen Gehalt von 6,5, ungefähr 605 Gramm. Die alte Mine hat einen durchschnittlichen Gehalt von 15,2 Gramm gehabt und 580.000 Unzen ungefähr produziert. Und das ist eigentlich das, was das Spannende ist. Sie haben eine neue Struktur entdeckt, wie das aufgebaut ist, wie das Projekt eigentlich auch aufgebaut ist. Und das bringen sie jetzt in der neuen Ressourcenschätzung rauf. Sie haben letztes Jahr ein extrem hochgradiges Projekt, also Bohrloch gebohrt, das Ganze dann dementsprechend verändert hat, wie sie auf dieses Projekt schauen. Sie sehen hier ein und dasselbe Bohrloch. Zwischen 399 und 411 Meter haben sie 8,7 Gramm gefunden, über 12,2 Meter. Und kaum 10 Meter drunter haben sie eine viel höhergradigere Erz gefunden, nämlich 37,5 Gramm pro Tonne, 10 Meter weiter tiefer. Und das sind sozusagen parallele Strukturen, die aber gegenseitig laufen, und deswegen haben sie einen speziellen Geologen geholt, einen Strukturgeologen, der sich die ganzen Daten angeschaut hat und diese Struktur nochmal analysiert hat, und sie sind da auf ein neues Modell gekommen mit einer Fault dazwischen, also eine Bruchstelle, sozusagen Sollbruchstelle, und an diesen Sollbruchstellen sind normalerweise die höchsten Konzentrationen festzustellen, haben das neu modelliert und wollen jetzt dieses Projekt nahezu jetzt also weiter bebohren mit 20.000 Bohrmeter von Oberfläche, runterbohren bis 500 Meter. Das heißt, sie kriegen ca. 35 Bohrlöcher, weil sie bohren ja nicht horizontal runter, sondern leicht schräg, beziehungsweise vertikal, nicht horizontal. Also sie bohren nicht direkt rein, sondern leicht schräg, dadurch sind die Bohrlöcher länger. Und das ist jetzt einer Plan, also Ressourcenschätzung in den nächsten 4 Wochen, dann starten sie mit dem Bohrprogramm, kommen dementsprechend mit 20.000 Bohrmeter so gebohrt werden, 2,2 Millionen sollte es kosten, inklusive Analyse, muss man auch dazu sagen. Und sie wollen dann genau diese neue Struktur bestätigen. Und deswegen sagt er auch, es ist relativ einfach, jetzt hohe Unzen zu erhöhen, weil sie jetzt wissen eigentlich, wie die Struktur läuft und jetzt müssen sie eigentlich nur nachbohren, um das dementsprechend zu bestätigen. Und von daher ist das eigentlich eine ganz interessante Sache. Ich habe auch dann gefragt, wie sieht ihr jetzt den Goldpreis? Ja, das Interesse kommt zurück, Goldpreis ist ausgebrochen und das passt jetzt natürlich vom Timing perfekt zusammen. Sie kommen mit hoffentlich hochgradigen Ergebnissen und gleichzeitig steigender Goldpreis bringt einen riesen Schub nach oben. Und er sieht auch schon, dass das Interesse jetzt kommt, er kriegt viel mehr Anrufe und es ist vor allem jetzt ein viel leichteres Umgehen mit den Leuten, weil jeder noch interessanten Gebieten sucht. So, und das war es eigentlich jetzt kurz von Radisson Mining. Das Kürzel ist, hier haben wir die RTV, ist glaube ich das Kürzel, steht da, RDS. So, RDS ist das Kürzel und an der Toronto Stock Exchange, an der Venture. Das war's. Tschüss und Baba, viel Spaß, bis zum nächsten Mal.